This podcast is brought to you by Marcus Rodriguez. If you're looking to buy or sell your home in this competitive market and you're not too sure where to start, look no further than Merced's preferred realtor, Marcus Rodriguez. He will make the transition go as easy as possible, and you can reach him at 209-554-1715. Again, that's 209-554-1715. Visit his website, www.myagentmarcus.com, or email him at info@myagentmarcus.com. This podcast is also brought to you by Duffy.murphy. Whether you need studio time, mixing and mastering services, or someone to clean up your podcast audio, he's your guy. And trust me, because he's my guy. Now, you can get a hold of Duffy by emailing him. His email is duffy.murphy@yahoo.com. Once again, that's duffy.murphy@yahoo.com. Or you can find him on Instagram. That's @DuffyMurphy. This podcast is brought to you by Thore. If you're in the Central Valley area, and you're looking to get a tattoo, look no further than this dude right here. He's a versatile artist that specializes in black and gray realism. He's located in Merced at the Merced Tattoo and Piercing Company, and if you'd like to get in contact with him, the easiest way to reach out to him is through Instagram or stopping by the shop. So his Instagram is @_Thore with 5 E's, so that's @_THOREEEE. And once again, thank you guys for tuning in to Real Talk and Whatnot, a Central Valley podcast. I am your host, Micah Daly, and I'm a filmmaker and photographer based out of the Central Valley of California. If anybody out there needs any wedding films, commercial work, photography work, real estate videos, real estate pictures, music videos, anything in between, let me know. I'm your guy. You guys can contact me at 209-769-4596. Once again, that's 209-769-4596. Email me at it's micahdaly@gmail.com, micahdaly@gmail.com, or find me on Instagram if you want to check out the show, see all the promos and everything else. It's micah.daly. That's MICAH.DIELE. Thanks for tuning in to Real Talk and Whatnot, a Central Valley podcast. And once again, give it up for the sponsors, you guys. I really appreciate the support. And if you have a business out there or brand and you want to get more awareness about it, look no further than right here, Real Talk and Whatnot. I'm one of the only podcasts that I know in the Central Valley, and I would love to have your support. So if you're interested in that, you can call me at 209-769-4596. You can email me at micahdaly.com, or you can message me on Instagram right here as well. Alrighty, let's just jump into today's episode. Today I'm joined by Dustin Burkhouse. Dustin goes diving with great white sharks. He's a really freaking awesome dude, and he actually reached out to me and coming onto the show. And I was very surprised by that because I was like, man, like, this guy who goes diving with great white sharks wants to come on my podcast. Does he know where I'm from? Does he know that I live 2 hours away from the beach? And because I was just, you go to his page and it's just awesome. It's tons and tons of great white sharks and other types of sharks and orcas and whales and a lot of marine life, some landscapes and other things, but a lot of sharks. And Dustin is just a really cool dude. He reached out to me and I was like, hey, I don't know if you know where I'm from. I'm from Merced. It's a kind of a small city. And he was like, no, dude, I'm from Tracy, California. And I was like, oh shit. And he's not born and raised there, but that's where he resides right now. He owns a Prized Images is what I believe it's called. And that's a real estate, photography, videography business. But not only does he do that, he's just a really cool dude. And, we sat down on the podcast and we had a really good conversation. Before I go any further, you guys, make sure you are downloading and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. Make sure you guys get the word out there that there is a Central Valley podcast. Like, I think that majority of the time, people just don't know that there's a podcast out there about the Central Valley. So please share this with your family and friends. I would really appreciate it. Share this on your social medias. Please follow me on Instagram because that's where I post most of my promos for this. There's also a Facebook page, micah.daly. Don't really get Facebook, but hey, if you're going to follow me there, go ahead, follow me there as well. I'd really appreciate the support, you guys. So I posted on my Instagram today, and I was like, hey, people, help me out. What are phrases that you only hear in the Central Valley? And let's go through them. Number one response. Hella, hecka, hella, hecka, hella, 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 hella. This is my favorite one. My allergies are hella bad right now. That's so true. Everyone's, oh, my allergies. I'm hella tired. My allergies are all acting up. Number one thing people say from the Central Valley, hella. Now let's get back to Dustin. Like I said before, Real cool dude. Had a really great conversation with him. We talked about, a lot of things based around the ocean, marine life. We talked about photography, videography. And it's cool because, when I re-listened to it, this is the first, hour and a half, 2 hours that I met this dude. And me and him just, we have a really cool relationship, real cool guy. Happy to be able to call him my friend. And I'm just so happy you guys get to hear this podcast because I think you really will gain a lot from it. It's kind of like, we're all on that path of doing what we think we should be doing or doing what the norm is. And I think that oftentimes people can gain a lot from hearing how people maybe were taking that normal route and then, something happened in their life and it all changed and it made them more motivated and made them, want to do something and want to look at life differently. And that's from this conversation I had with Dustin Burkhouse, that's exactly what I got out of it. So I don't know. I'm just so happy you guys get to hear this. So I'm going to stop talking, okay? And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Dustin Burkhouse. This is it. Real talk and whatnot.
Real talk. That's it. Real talk. Real talk. Real talk.
It's a hard market to be like you and your friends talking.
Yeah.
And that's what, originally I was like I didn't know what I was doing with this podcast, my first 5 episodes, and then then I sat down after 6 episodes, and I was like, wait, what am I doing? What is the point of my
What's
podcast?
the purpose? Yeah,
and that's when I came up with it's all about the Central Valley and talented people within it.
Perfect, literally,
exactly,
perfect,
easy, perfect, it's easy to go off of, and it kind of allows me to be I can still have my friends on. You know what I mean?
Totally, yeah.
But a lot of people in the area, they always end up having a podcast, and it's just them and their friends hanging out, or them and their friends, their take on sports.
You gotta get people.
And it's just hey, unless you're already someone and you're already famous or have a following, then you can kind of just do whatever.
Totally.
But a lot of people around the area, I'm always hey, you gotta have some purpose. It doesn't have to be the whole show. You just have to have that tagline or something
exactly.
about.
And I think it was perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
It caught my eye big time.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. No one's putting on for the Central Valley.
No,
at all. And it's obviously way overlooked, and people look past it all the time. And I think that the longer I live here, the more I appreciate it.
Totally.
And the more that the whole Central Valley is pretty much transforming. Comparatively now compared to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you introduce yourself for people who may not know who you are?
My name's Dustin Burkhouse. I am a photographer first. I like to say that because I am. And then I go into more content creation type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm most known for diving with great white sharks, photographing them, a lot of ocean related
marine
items.
life pretty much.
Yeah, and I am from Tracy, California. A lot of people get that so mixed up. They think I live somewhere where there's a bunch of great white sharks. No, I live an hour from the ocean, and I go there a lot on my own time.
Is it just an hour from Tracy?
If you go straight there, early in the morning.
Yeah, before traffic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Tracy is kind of, you're right. It's by the Altamont.
Half Moon Bay is straight there, and it's an hour straight. If I go to Santa Cruz, it's an hour and 15.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's not awful, but it's not fun.
Yeah. And how often are you going there? I mean, every weekend?
Back in the day, it was every weekend. At any chance I could, I'd just go to the beach because I used to do wave photography before.
Oh, okay, yeah. So actually, when I was looking through your stuff, I was like, okay, let me go far back and see how far your sharks go. And it was instant, at one point, it was just your wave photography, pretty much. Yeah. And so what is wave photography? Why don't you explain that to people?
It's honestly just waves kind of crashing over you, and you just get in the wave and just snap a bunch of pictures, and hopefully something turned out good. Yeah. Obviously, you want to do it with good light. I love the mornings. No one's out there, no traffic, but sunset usually seems to be the best time.
Yeah, to get that golden hour.
Yeah, and honestly, it's empty waves. It's not even surfers either.
Yeah. So I was noticing that, and then one of your photos, it was you caught a photo, and it was the wave crashing, but it kind of made a heart.
Oh, yeah.
That one was real sick.
That was nuts. It was the GoPro.
Oh, that was GoPro.
Yep,
so that's how you started with the GoPro?
Yeah.
Okay.
With water stuff.
Water stuff.
Yeah.
And then, so with your case that you put your camera into, was there trial and error with trying to find a good one?
I bought a cheap one first. It was $300, and it was the best thing I ever bought. I loved it because I always brought my GoPro in the water, and I wanted to bring my camera so bad, and it was they were really expensive. And then this company came out that was just doing dive housings, and then someone made a trigger, so you don't have to hold the shutter down. It's just a trigger, so you can point out in the waves.
Really? And that triggers your
the shutter.
Yeah.
And so I got that, and I had like this custom trigger built. It was really cool. It was really heavy, but I was so happy because I felt like a pro out there.
Yeah.
And then I finally like took it a little more serious. I bought a new camera, a new Sony, and it was really expensive. I was like, well, I probably should get something a little more expensive.
Yeah, dude, that investment of buying a camera just feels like you're like you know you're gonna get your money's worth. But it's just like I don't want to spend $2,000 right now.
Yeah, back in the day I was like that. Now I'm like, whatever, give me the newest.
Yeah,
like, I'll spend whatever money because I know it's gonna make me money, and like that's the reality of it.
Yeah, and it's like and it's like I ended up buying my camera in like a bundle from Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace, that's where I bought my drone too. Like that's lenses, whatever you need, you guys buy a Facebook Marketplace.
Absolutely.
I wish I almost lived in a bigger city though, because sometimes I'll like go to San Francisco Facebook Marketplace and I'm like, people are just getting rid of stuff for cheap. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And then I'm like, well, it doesn't make sense for me to drive 4 hours and take up my whole entire day to go buy this thing.
Yeah, unless it's like really worth it.
Yeah, I did that when my buddy did that one time for a drone controller because our drone controller broke. And then the online, it was like the cheapest one was $350, like or through them to order it.
Oh wow!
And then we found one for $100, but then we ended up having to drive 2 hours. And then it was like our full day. And afterwards, I were like, I don't think we'd ever do that again. Like maybe it was worth an extra $200 to just get it.
That's a mission.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a mission.
And so, when did you first get into photography, videography, or photography? I'll say.
So it started like so I used to. I still skateboard, but it was photos and videos of my friends, like
skateboarding.
That's where it started, like skateboarding.
Honestly, it seems like a lot of photographers and videographers. That's kind of how they start.
Yeah, I think skateboarding like has a really creative like mindset behind it. A lot of people are very creative. Like they're artists. Most of them are artists too, actually. But yeah, started filming my friend. He had a video camera, and we got like this cheap wide angle lens that you screwed on. It was crazy. Like it was tape.
Oh,
it was
like
tape.
On top of
it?
it?
It was like tape. We weren't even using digital.
It's like a fisheye, right?
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, and you just screw it on. And I remember we bought it off eBay for like $20 and we were juiced. But that was his camera. And I filmed him a lot. And he filmed me skateboarding because we wanted to make a sponsor me video and like all these cool videos. And then eventually I bought my first camera. It was a Nikon D40. And I don't even remember what lens it was. It was probably the kit lens.
Yeah.
And I had a girl.
What is the kit lens now? What is it?
I don't know.
It's like 20.
Sony, it's 16 to 55 for like.
That's what Canon is
the
too.
APS-C, and then
or
like
18 to 55. That's Canon.
And then full frames 28 to 70.
Yeah,
something like that. I had a girlfriend, and her dad had a 70 to 200, and he let me borrow it.
Dude, I remember like when I first got into photography, I was like, 7200. Like, that's like the best lens.
Coolest thing ever.
And then now like I have one on side. I mean, you use it, but you don't use it as nearly as much as you might. I mean, for not like in like a day-to-day type deal. For specific stuff, I'm sure for like marine stuff. Like, But whenever I went on that princess whale watching tour.
Oh my God. And what?
And so that's
I go all the time.
Dude, when I went, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, that's the beauty of it though, honestly.
Yeah, and everybody else is like, they're like, I've been whale watching multiple times. I haven't seen anything. Yeah. And I was just like, we just happened to, we were on a little mini honeymoon after me and my wife got married, and my cousin Manuel from Portugal flew in for the wedding. And so we dropped him off the airport in San Francisco, and then we're like, let's just go to Santa Cruz. Yeah. So we spent the day in Santa Cruz, and then we're like, let's just go to Monterey tomorrow. And like, we just by happen chance just walked onto the pier at like 1:00, and then they were leaving at 1:30. We're like, can we still do this? And they're like, yeah. And so we just bought the tickets. Yeah. But dude, we saw some freaking sick stuff. And I didn't have my 70-200, and I was like, gosh.
Man.
I ended up getting I got that shot with it was what is it? 24-105.
Nice.
And so I just had that one.
It's a good lens.
Yeah, and so I had that one, but on my shot, like I wasn't even zoomed in at all. And so like literally, like I mean, it came out great still.
Yeah, it's still dope.
And so it's easier to catch it on focus that way. I mean, you know what I mean? If you're more zoomed out, at least everything's a little more in focus versus if you're zoomed in, you get the shot of the whale, but it's completely out of focus or whatever. Yeah. And so I just cropped it in and then enhanced it. Perfect. But yeah, it was just so sick. And there was 5 of them feeding, 5 humpback whales all feeding together when we went. Yeah. And it was crazy. And then on our way back, the lady was pretty hyped like during when she was announcing her stuff. Name? I don't. She said she'd been there for like 3-4 months.
I can't remember.
Yeah, but she then all of a sudden we saw like a blue whale, or there's a blue whale to the left of us. And so they stopped the boat, and she's just like, oh my God, there's a blue whale. And she was so hyped that it hyped us up, and she was like, I've been here for 3 months and I haven't even seen one.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, and so it was like doing it like showed its like us its stomach kinda.
No way.
Yeah, like so it went up and it kind of showed us its stomach, and like I have a picture just barely of its like lips coming out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then it was doing like not tail spins, but it was like showing us just half of its tail, basically. Weird. Yeah, and they were saying like normally they don't show their tail and stuff.
Yeah, that's
and so
crazy.
I have a couple of photos of it, but it's kind of like I don't know. It's weird because like when I'm editing and stuff, I'm like, I don't like. It just looks like half a tail.
It's just kind of boring.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally get it.
And so when you're like editing your photos, do you sometimes you're like, man, like the moment was so much cooler. Like then
absolutely. That's like all the whale stuff's like that. Yeah. Because I mean, honestly, though, I don't know what happened, but I know where the whale stuff started. Mm-hmm. So I was in Cabo earlier this year in 2021. Yeah, so March. Yeah. And we got in the water with orcas.
Oh, really?
And like ever since then, I was like, man, orcas are so cool. I want to see like more of them. I went back after that.
And where was that at?
Yeah, that was in Cabo.
Oh, Cabo.
So we jumped in the water. Orca swam like 2 feet away from me. I took a picture of it. I had my GoPro recording the whole time. Like one of the most epic days of my life.
That's so cool.
Like it was crazy. And then I came home and I went straight to Monterey. I was like, I heard there's orcas in the Monterey Bay. I want to see these things again. And I went on an all-day trip. We saw orcas the entire day.
Really?
It was the coolest thing.
Was it specifically was it a whale watching trip or was
it was like an all-day whale watching trip. I paid for it. Like,
was it more of like a private one?
Yeah.
It was not one of the big boats?
Right.
Yeah.
It was more of a private one. But that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And then I got married and we went to Monterey.
Did you get married this year?
Yeah, in May.
In May.
Yeah,
Congrats, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's why I was like so juiced when you got married. I was like, it's so cool. Like
he does video photography and he's married. Like
well, like the whole wedding thing is really cool, and I didn't expect it to be as fun and as cool as it was until I got married. I'm like, dude, weddings are tight.
Oh yeah, I've been in so many weddings growing up. Like this was like my wedding was like my 10th to 12th wedding I've been in.
Yeah, so
I've been like I know weddings are fun, and honestly. I mean, weddings are fun, but our wedding, don't get me wrong, it was super fun, but you're like the main event of it, so you don't get to really take it in. Versus when you're at someone else's wedding, you can kind of like, oh, look at everything. It's like, I didn't really notice any of the decorations or anything. Right. It just flies past you.
Totally.
Yeah. Back to...
Anyways, so we got married. We went to Monterey for like a quick honeymoon, and we went on a sunset cruise, whale watching cruise with Princess Monterey.
Okay, gotcha.
And I talked to the owner and I was like, hey, I take pictures. Here's my Instagram. And he's like, oh, that's awesome. Whenever you want to come, you can come for free. Like just whenever, just come.
That's sick.
I was like, for real? Like I just come? He's like, yeah. And he gave me my money back for that trip too.
That's even more crazy.
And my wife's money back, like refunded us. And he's like, yeah. I was like, he's like, just give me some of the pictures you take from the day. And like, you just come whenever you want. So I've been doing that for the last like 6 months.
That's sick.
Yeah. So like, that's another reason why I go to the beach a lot now, because I wake up and just drive down there and I'm there all day. It is like, because I want to get, the humpback breaching in the sunset like you got.
Yeah.
That's my goal, is to get that picture. And I was like, it's a bucket list shot. And like, this is a good way for me to get it.
Yeah. Because we went on whatever the last one is, it's like 1:30 to 5 pretty much. And it's sunset. It's pretty much as sunset as you can get unless you go on a private tour.
I was like on the summertime. So sunset was like.
Oh, it's 8 o'clock pretty much. Yeah.
A little bit later.
Yeah. So ours was like, exactly. Right. 5 o'clock is like coming on to it.
Yeah, totally.
And so you're there with your wife, and then so you ended up hooking up with them, is just talking to the owner?
And that's the first time I've ever done anything like that. Like,
really?
Went up to someone like, hey, I'm a photographer. Do you need a photographer?
Don't you always feel like you're like, oh man, like I almost like, I'll do it sometimes, but sometimes somebody, when people tell me I should go talk to them and tell them I'm a photographer, I'm like, I feel like I'm like cringing at myself, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I think I'm more of an introvert anyways. Sometimes it depends. It depends on who I'm talking to and like the situation, but I do think I'm more of an introvert. So like for me to come out of my shell and like just ask him, but there's been like a lot of crazy changes in my life this year. So like I think I'm being like more confident now, like big time.
Well, and kind of when you throw yourself out there in those uncomfortable situations, generally like something good's gonna come out of it.
Absolutely.
Like when I was like, I'm sorry listeners for people listening, but when I got into photography, videography, like it was like I was only into it for 6 months, and then I was doing my first wedding with my buddy. And my buddy's been doing it for a couple like, years prior to that. So at least I had him there. But I was just like, yeah, let's do it. Like I always was just like, let me. And I keep doing it. But through that, like now I'm like, I can go do stuff by myself and just feel comfortable. You know what I mean? And like that's the benefit of just throwing yourself out there. And did they like announce that the owner was on the boat, or
no? He was working in the shop.
Oh, okay. And you started talking to him?
His son was in there, and he's like, oh, this is my dad. He owns it. And I was just like,
oh, really?
This is a good opportunity. I was like, do you guys need a photographer? That's like basically all I said. And he's like, then we like started getting into it. And I was like, this is like my work. And like he saw, and he's like, oh, it's really good. And he's like, yeah, whenever you want to come. They already have a photographer, but he has 2 boats. So I guess he just wanted another one.
Yeah, that's sick.
And then he's like, potentially in the future, we can talk about like actually paying you and these things like that.
Yeah, but you're like, hey, right now.
I like to go for free because I want to get the shot anyways.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see like the lunging feeding too because I thought that was really cool. And I saw that a ton this year. So it's been really cool.
Yeah. And then so you got into whales or sharks first?
Oh, sharks. Definitely. Sharks
okay.
been like a lifetime thing.
And so before we get into sharks, I guess, where did your kind of love for the ocean come from?
I was born in Oxnard, California.
Where's that near?
Ventura.
Okay,
I was just listening to that podcast about the film.
Oh, with Carol. Yeah,
and she's like,
she was born in Ventura, or she was living in Ventura.
So like Port Wainimi, she mentioned that, and that's like my dad was stationed on the base. He was in the Navy.
Oh, really?
So I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. It's like a small world, but
that is a small world.
That area is where I was born. So like we were really close to the ocean. We went like every day. I remember seeing like a humpback whale like when I was really young, and like I just fell in love with the ocean. But I've always loved sharks too. So like it's just been like my whole life type thing. And then like I knew I wanted to go on this great white shark trip so bad my entire life. I found out it's like $4,000. I'm like, well, that sucks. Like this is gonna take more than I think.
Yeah.
And it's like the trip's way more intense than most people think too. So like it's a lot of money, but it's also really, really.
And what trip was that?
Really worth it.
Cabo or
no, Guadalupe Island. So that's 200 miles off of Ensenada, off the coast of Mexico on the Pacific side.
And so you flew down to Mexico, or how does that whole thing work?
So the whole trip, you go to San Diego. You get on a big shark bus. They take you to the border. You get off the bus, walk over, get back on the bus, drive down to Ensenada, get on like their harbor there. Jump on the boat.
Is it where the cruise ships come in and everything?
It's a smaller one.
Oh, but probably off somewhere.
Probably somewhere around there. I don't know too much about Ensenada. But it's cool because you have to drive through Tijuana and like all those little cities in Mexico. It's crazy. And then you get down to Ensenada. It's just, and then you set sail. Like but this is the thing. It's not like you're on the boat for 5 days.
Oh, really?
And to get to Guadalupe Island.
How long does it take?
20 hours. So
I can only imagine because I was I don't get seasick at all. Like, and I knew I wouldn't have. But my wife, she's like, she gets a little like motion sickness, and I was like, and I was just like, you'll be fine. Like, don't worry about it. Like, we'll be good. And like, as soon as like she was like, I'm gonna throw up, and then right when she said that, like we just slowed down and we got to, because it was only like 40 minutes out for Monterey. And so like we found whales, and I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. But like she couldn't have gone like any longer than that. But like, and this is a smaller boat, right?
No, it's about that size.
About that same size?
It's a big boat because there's like 18 people and we're all living.
You're sleeping on it.
We're living on the boat, yeah. There's like a full kitchen, chef, everything.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's tight.
And so you knew you were saving up money for this, right?
Yeah.
And so, and that's $4,000. That was that trip right there.
Yeah.
And so, what did you do anything to prepare for it? Because like that was your first time, right?
Yeah. So the crazy, like, I knew I wanted to do this, and I've looked this trip up many times, and then I'm on Instagram scrolling one day and I come across this like most epic great white shark photo I've ever seen in my life. It's an over-under sharks here and then like sunset. Like it's just lights perfect. Like this is like the coolest picture I've ever seen in my life. Like, like how do I do this?
Yeah.
I go to the guy's profile and he's from Livermore, California.
Really?
I'm living in Livermore at the same time. I'm like, wait, what's going on? So like, I messaged this guy. His name's Ewan. He's like, me and him are like really good friends now too, which is like, because he was like someone I looked up to.
Yeah.
Like we're cool. Like I could call him. I go to his house.
Yeah,
like,
that's cool.
We're really cool friends. And he's like someone I looked up to for so long, which is crazy now that we're like good friends. But he's like, I started asking him so many questions like, hey, how do I do this? Where do I do it? When? Like, give me every detail, like what lens, camera, everything that you use. I need to know everything. It's super nice. And just he broke everything down.
Dude, it's so cool when people are like that. I don't get when people are like,
stand up.
Yeah, and I get it when like if you're like so big that you can't reply to people. Yeah, like, it's whatever. But like people who are like, it's like I'm like you can tell me everything you do, and it's still like I still have to know how to do stuff in order to get the photo. Yeah. And so you hooked up with him, saw his photos, and then started looking into it more. Yeah, started talking to him.
He told me like, hey, talk to this lady Nikki, who's also a great photographer, and she's just like been going to Guadalupe for years and years and years. She's like, she knows everything about it. So I talked to her, like gave her a deposit to hold my spot and like paid for it throughout the year. And that was 2019. That was the first time I went, 2019. Okay. So
you're relatively pretty new into it.
I've only gone twice on this specific trip. And it's like, it's totally epic. Like it's so cool.
That's sick.
So yeah, I paid for it and I was on the way. Like, it was crazy.
And so you're out there, heading out there for 20 hours. And then do you have to get your scuba license or anything?
No, you don't have to be scuba certified for this one because you're in a cage that's
just right on the boat, right?
Right on the boat. So they give you it's a hookah system. Like, you're just,
the tanks in the boat?
Oh, they're on the boat.
Yeah.
You're breathing through the lines.
Do you have any scuba stuff?
No. That's my goal this year.
I was going to say
scuba certified this year.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
This year or as in this coming?
Guess.
This year. Yeah, it'll be this year. Don't worry, it's coming out.
Yeah, next year.
No, it's coming out in January.
Yeah,
so this year.
Yeah, 2022, which is crazy.
Dude, I know. I can't believe it's been 2 years since 2020, honestly. Yeah, and so when you're in the cage, so you want to do it, were you ever nervous about being in the cage or anything?
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Because when I see your photos and stuff, I'm like, man, like that looks cool. And I feel like I'm like, oh yeah, man, I'd be in the cage. Like, that'd be cool. But like, I don't know at the same time.
So it's not even bad at all.
Mm-hmm.
But the first time you get in, every time the first time you get in is a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I got in, Ewan was in there with me. There's 4 people allowed in the cage at a time.
Oh, so he was on the trip too with you?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool too.
Which made it way better. I've never met him still.
Until that trip?
Until I got to San Diego, met him, even though we lived in the same city. But like, we're both busy doing our thing.
Yeah.
We don't know each other, so it's not like we're just going to go hang out.
Yeah, I got you.
Whatever. But like, now we're super cool, which is funny. He's in the cage, and I'm like, all right, cool. He's experienced. I'm going to get in the cage. I get in there, and I'm just sitting there. 15 minutes, no sharks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, okay, like this is even more scary because I expected to see sharks already.
Yeah.
Where are they coming from? And then boom, like one's just swimming towards me, and I'm just like, whoa. Because I've studied sharks for so long, and I know like how they move. I've seen so many videos, and I'm like, this is the real thing. It's right in front of me, and it was just really, really. That moment was unreal. And the funny thing about that shark, it comes up to the cage, and like they have bait out there.
Yeah, let's say
like
bait.
Tuna.
Mm-hmm.
And they pull it because they don't want to feed the sharks. They just want them to come closer to the cage.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. And it like just goes nuts after the bait right in front of my face, jaws open. I'm like, oh my God, what did I just see? Like, it was so insane. And I got like one of the coolest pictures I've ever taken in my life, like the first shot. And I was like, I was like, wow, this is crazy. I didn't know I got the shot yet because I'm underwater. I'm not looking at him yet.
Yeah, you're just, I guess, high shutter. So when you're underwater, what are your settings like? Pretty different, or
I just adjust them underwater. I kind of guess high shutter. I keep my f-stop around 4.
Yeah,
I don't really want to go under that because I want to get everything in focus.
Yeah,
they're moving quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But there's such like the clarity there is unreal. You can see for like 100 feet.
Oh, really?
The water's super clear and the light's perfect. So it's like it's perfect conditions.
That's sick
For photographers.
Yeah,
At least every time I've gone, I've heard horror stories, but every time I've gone, it's like crystal clear water, like Lake Tahoe, like just perfectly blue, like this weird. They call it Guadalupe blue because it's just like this real nice blue.
The blue that's in a lot of your shark photos.
Yeah.
And so, you've done that trip how many times?
I've gone twice because I was supposed to go 2020, but they canceled it.
Oh, gotcha.
So I just went in October.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And then didn't you just go somewhere too?
I just went to Cabo. I go to Cabo a lot.
And Cabo has a lot of cool stuff there.
All kinds. Like right now, humpbacks are just insane. They have orcas pretty much all year now. Like bunch of like mobile arrays. Mako sharks, blue sharks. They saw a great white last time we were there, actually.
Do you have a background in anything? Like, did you go to school and study anything, or you just kind of?
I've just been a photographer.
Just super into, but super into learning about sharks and everything.
Yeah.
And so you kind of like, and like you're saying, you kind of always had that love for the ocean growing up and everything like that.
And then it's a straight passion.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
that's cool.
With photography, but like before. Like, I do have an associate's degree, so, like, I do have some type of college, but, like, I've never used it, you know?
You used what you got it in, pretty much,
And then I came in, like, an operations manager I worked at a warehouse and worked my way up from, like, an associate to, like, a supervisor to an operations manager, then, like, a training manager. And you got to think, like, that kind of job for someone like me is absolutely terrible. Like, I quit, so that...
There's a reason that's not what I do.
Going back to that first Guadalupe trip, I went... In September 2019, I quit my full-time job November 2019 because I knew what I just saw. There was something else for me in life, like way bigger than working at a warehouse. I walked in, and it's crazy because how this all has worked out into where I am now. I quit that job. Yeah. My boss had this weird conversation with me after my trip that I did not like at all. I've worked really hard for that position. I worked really hard, even though I hated it, and I'm pretty sure they know I didn't like my like the job was fine. I was getting paid fine, like whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Like I didn't care about money at that point.
Yeah.
Like it's like I was just getting a paycheck.
You wanted a little more from life, though, right?
Like it was over. I knew it was over. I have a feeling they did too, but he had a weird conversation with me, like kind of made me feel like I wasn't doing a good job.
Yeah.
That's never happened in my entire life. And I'm like, wow. I walk outside. So I walk back to my desk. He walks outside because he's like smoking. And then I'm sitting at my desk like 5 minutes. I'm like very like anxious because I know I'm quitting. Like that,
you just feel it. Huh?
That moment, like, and I've never done that in my life where I just walked out of a job. But like I knew this was it. Like this was the time my life was gonna change, and like it was a huge shift from there. Like from that moment on, I like dedicated to like starting my own business, which was with a friend, and that business didn't work out because like it still wasn't photography.
What was that business?
It was like buying and reselling electronics.
Okay, gotcha.
In bulk.
Yeah.
Which you can make a lot of money, and they make good money.
And you could buy big things from Amazon and stuff like that, too.
And I mean, they're salesmen. They're really good at that stuff. And it was cool that I got the opportunity. I learned, and I got to start my own little business, but it just wasn't working for me. Like
it still wasn't what you're passionate about.
I wasn't
really.
dedicated enough. Like in any business, you have to be so dedicated. So like,
and how old were you when this was going on? It's 2019.
Yeah, so I was 30. I was 30. I'm 33 now.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm 28. Now I got to think about it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no, seriously. But I feel like I'm getting younger now that I quit my job, which is crazy.
Well, I think that that very similar to what happened to me. It's like I graduated college, and then I just like you get to a point in your life and you're like, wait, what do I want? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, wait, what do I actually want to do with my life? Yeah. And because for forever, you know, all your life, you seem like you're doing what your bosses want. You're doing what your parents think you should do, what your friends think you should do. You know what I mean? And so I think that everyone kind of gets to that turning point. And I think a lot of people get scared, like, oh, it's too late. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
big time.
Yeah, especially when you're like our age. You know what I mean? Like, because I was 26 when I kind of was like, maybe I'll start getting into this. And that's late in the game. You know what I mean? Comparatively, like, I see kids with cameras who are 18 doing stuff that I have no idea how to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, honestly, I'm like, man, if only I started then. But at least you started.
I think it's a whole different generation though. Like the way we think is so much different from like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like people are 10 years older than us because now we have all the opportunities to start our own business. No, they didn't. Like it's so, it's not easy, but like the resources there's so many of them. It's like, it's right there. Like I started that real estate photography business shortly after the other business. So 2020, like the middle of it, I didn't make any money basically that whole year in real estate. Like I made money, but like
I know what you mean.
Expenses definitely.
Trust me, like being into camera gear and stuff like that, you're like, it's a sick cycle of of getting money and spending money.
And then 2021, like boom, this business starts blowing up. Like it gets insane. I start with, I don't know, I have like 15 agents I work with in 2021 to like now 130.
Holy crap.
Within 1 year. That's what I'm saying. Like next year's going to be insane.
Let me know if you need help, man.
Yeah, that's why I've even already asked you. I'm like, dude, I might need your help.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Especially because like, I don't know, I've done houses out here in Merced.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, honestly, I haven't promoted myself that much. I have 2 real estate agents that I like do stuff for a lot. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I don't want to necessarily be the like I want to get work with like, you know, like 10 clients and just have that as a source of income, but I don't necessarily want to like have like because I don't know, I don't want to specifically have like, because I like to do other video stuff too.
Yeah, totally.
And so
I'm at that point in my life now.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, because you're like, oh, I can do this, but you're like, now I'm almost, you know what I mean?
Now I'm too busy.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a good problem to have. Yeah. It's a great problem to have.
Yeah, I'm not hating it.
But yeah, my whole thing too is like, it's like people like, they'll be like, well, do you do this? I'm like, yeah, like honestly, I won't say no to a job. I do music videos.
Exactly.
I'll do event photography, event videography. Yeah. I'll capture like whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like I just say yes because I'm going to learn and add stuff to my portfolio that I didn't have. And so I'm just like, whatever. And now at least like, you know, last year was the year where in 2020, it was just like, that's the year me and my buddy were like, okay, we're going to try things. And we tried to do a couple we used to make nature films and stuff like that. And that was fun. It's a fun passion project, but you can't make money from that really. Yeah. You know what I mean? Unless.
I mean, YouTube.
You can, yeah. And we have like some videos that have like a good amount of views on YouTube, but it's just, you know what I mean? It's like
work.
Yeah, it's work. And it's not like, oh, I'm going to post this video and get paid. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm going to post this video and maybe 2 years from now, it'll weirdly go jump up in views. And
you never know.
That's how stuff works out.
That literally just happened to me on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Like a month ago.
It was one of your shark videos? Or?
First shark trip I went on, I made a little like whole montage of the trip. And like no one looks at my YouTube. I look at it, as like 60,000 views. I'm like, oh,
when did this happen?
I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I was like, how?
That's funny.
Like, what did I do? I didn't do anything.
That's funny. I made this.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, I made this video of a Half Dome that I thought was going to be a lot, like, get more views.
I know. I just listened to you guys talk about that.
Oh, did you? I was like,
I'm going to watch that.
Yeah,
now.
so it's like almost 20 minutes, and it's just like almost like an ASMR with music of like us hiking Half Dome all the way.
Gotcha.
All the way from the beginning to the end. And so that's the cool part because I had never seen that. And it basically, my whole thing was it's an outlet for people, older people who never will have the opportunity to hike
I thought that was really cool.
At least they can watch that video. But it's like you never know what to tag in it or what to post in it, how it can gain traction. But you're saying, one day it can.
Yeah, no
randomly.
idea. No idea. And I just happened to look at, like, I don't even look at the video views anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what my podcast I kind of learned is just like, dude, like I'm not doing this for the views in reality. I'm just doing it. I'm doing it because I enjoy it.
Totally.
I never thought it'd be as much work having a podcast.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Because I do promos. A lot of podcasts don't do promos, I realize. And like,
no, that stuff's working.
It's working. It must be how we linked up somehow. Yeah. Do you think it was just a photo that you saw?
I think it was just a photo.
A photo, yeah.
Because I'm super interested in like good photography. Like if I see good work, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna check this out. And if you're like in this area, I'm for sure gonna follow you right away, just because like you'll give me ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
And then like it might be someone I can link up with, and like that might be able to help me like through a hike a place I've never been, and things like that. And I just think the collaboration is gonna be huge, anyways.
Yeah, and that's what for my podcast is what I've learned is like that's how we got linked up pretty much, you know, and just other people like that. It's just like throwing yourself out there and being open and available. Yeah. And I think like for I don't know a long time, people just aren't. I don't know. People are scared to do that a lot in their life, I guess. But I don't know. Let's get back to some sharks, right? Okay. No, so you have your specific type of case, and then I'm trying to think. So you don't need a scuba license, but your first time in the cage, you said you saw that shark, got some cool pictures of it.
Yeah.
And then that's day one, right? Or day two?
That's technically day two.
Day two.
It's the first day of diving.
First day of diving.
Yeah.
And you do diving for...
It's 3 days.
3 days, and then the other day's a trip back, pretty much.
Exactly.
And so, and then everyone have their laptops with them and stuff, or anything. You know, do you start editing photos while you're there?
It's always a weird mix of people on the boat because like probably 5 or 6 people are like photographers. They're there for that, and everyone else is there for like that bucket list experience.
Are some people there just not even for photography? Just there?
They don't even bring a GoPro.
They're just there to be in the cave and watch it.
Exactly,
which is cool. Yeah, that's even cooler. Yeah, because like you're.
Yeah, I totally respect it because that's like great white sharks are cool and people want to see them. This is the best place in the world to see them. So.
That's sick.
Yeah. It's sweet.
and then I'm sure you just meet a cool, like especially all the photographers. I'm sure kind of end up migrating towards each other in the sense of
the last time I went, it was got a hair on my face, driving me crazy. But it was Ewan, and this dude has like 70,000 followers on Instagram. And there was like this guy, Harry Stone, who's huge like shark photographer.
Oh, really?
And this other guy named George is like a huge shark photographer. And then this guy named Mike Coots, I don't know if you know who he is.
I don't know if I do.
He's from Hawaii. He got his leg bit off by a tiger shark.
Really?
And he's like, he's a shark conservationist now. Yeah. Like he's huge photographer.
And then you're there with all these guys. Were you like, did you have imposter syndrome at that point?
No, not really, honestly, because I knew they were all coming. Mike Coots is definitely like a celebrity photographer that I'm like, this guy's
dope.
So like his stuff's amazing and like his story is just like amazing. And he's the coolest fucking guy ever. Like the coolest guy ever.
Just down to earth.
Yeah. As soon as I saw him, I was like, can I take a picture with you? Like that's the first thing. Took a picture with him, and then he's like, dude, I love your work. He's telling me this. And I'm like, what?
That's crazy. Yeah. That's wild.
And I was like, man, I don't want to like start asking him all these questions yet.
You don't want to fanboy yet?
We got 3 days. And then
you could naturally ask all these questions.
But
stuff.
I totally just asked him whatever. He was cool with whatever.
That's
whatever
cool,
asked.
dude.
Like,
that's so awesome.
And most was just like camera talk and like stuff like that.
Yeah, dude, I love just nerding out camera gear and talking about stuff.
Especially someone like that with that.
Experience. Who has like knowledge. And I love talking to so is he a little older or how old is he?
I don't know. I mean, he's probably, I don't want to say his age because then
but like
he's probably going to listen.
40s?
No, I think younger than 40.
Oh, so like in his 30s. So pretty much a peer then.
Yeah. But he's a I don't know, to me he's a big deal. Especially in the shark conservation world. Like he does a lot of work for that stuff.
No, that's really cool. And so you being into sharks, have you gotten into some conservation stuff?
Yeah, I work with like Shark Cafe and Shark Allies. It's an organization, and they
it's
do.
It's not a cafe where they. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
The Shark Cafe is an actual place in the Pacific Ocean where great white sharks go.
A lot, and then they call it the Shark Cafe.
Yeah, it's called the Shark Cafe.
That's pretty cool.
So they made a brand around it. But I'm hooked up with them, and so like this year I donated like 4 metal prints to them for them to sell.
And then the proceeds go to them or whatever.
And then I donate to them pretty regularly too, just
That's
because
cool.
I definitely want to help. Like the ocean and the environment's huge to me.
Yeah, dude.
So,
I love the environment. And it's so crazy that it's a discussion on things.
Yeah.
Like, should we do stuff?
Yeah.
And then so you've only been recently diving the past 2 years pretty much, or with sharks, like
great whites.
Great whites.
I did, my first dive was in Hawaii with like Galapagos sharks off of Oahu. And then that was 2017.
Okay.
The first time I ever saw
Was that just with your GoPro you had that then?
No, I actually had my camera in the housing.
Oh,
it was like right when I got it.
So you've been you've been doing it for a while then.
Yeah.
Or marine stuff at least.
Yeah.
And so you started with waves, and then after waves, before you got into really sharks, anything else in the ocean you're taking pictures of?
Nah, it's probably landscapes.
Just landscape,
skateboarding stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
You still skateboard and stuff?
I do.
Nice.
Not as much as I used to, but
my buddy who I always do everything with, Jimmy, he's a big into skateboarding and everything. I'm always like, I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just the camera guy. I wasn't into skateboarding growing up.
I've been a skateboarder since I was like 10, so it's like a real thing. I don't say I'm like good or anything, but like I can skate really well with people. Like, oh, he's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't suck. He looks very, very comfortable.
I know what you mean. Yeah, but you're not like you're not going after that.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's just your hobby, pretty much.
Yeah,
it's just been a hobby, a lifelong hobby, pretty much.
It's a good hobby to like be comfortable with, because I can just jump on my skateboard and like cruise wherever I want.
Yeah,
and it's helped me with like filming, because I just like I can jump on my board and like film.
Dude, that's what.
And I'm really comfortable.
I have a
like
longboard, and that's what I do sometimes. It's like I'll just like literally hop on it, and longboards are even easier to ride. You know what I mean? And so like I did like a little short of like my girlfriend like running and stuff like that. But like I was just like, and I like had my camera. It was like it was before I had my gimbal too, and so I was like had. I don't know what it is. It's basically just a stick, and you can put your camera on it. Yeah. And but I was just like holding that upside down, getting like shots of her like running and stuff. Yeah. But it's just that's what I love. Like you can combine like multiple of your passions together to even like Yeah, that's cool. And then so what are some like common misconceptions about like sharks, do you think?
I think that they're just man eaters, which is like ridiculous. Like if you're in the ocean and you look like a snack or whatever, they're gonna bite you. Like that's it. Like they're sharks, you know.
You're in their like, world.
If they're hungry and you're in the area, they're probably gonna bite you. They're not gonna eat you, because I think most time the great white shark bites someone, they're just like, this isn't my food. But they usually die just because of
the bleeding out and
the
everything
impact.
else.
Yeah.
Didn't somebody in Santa Barbara recently?
Yeah, no, it was where was it? It was in Central California.
What's it?
It's like near Pismo.
Oh, okay.
That area.
Just below Monterey, pretty much.
Yeah. But I mean,
or Big Sur, whatever. Yeah.
Shark. There's a lot of sharks out like in this area, like tons.
But recently, way more than there ever has been, right? Because all my life, I went camping at New Brighton. Brighton State Beach.
They're all over
dude. But growing up, like there wasn't like, and I'm talking. I mean, maybe there was, but but like I'm talking like I went like 3 years ago, and there was like just fins, like 6 or 7 fins going around, and my freaking there's this girl that I knew out there on a paddleboard. She I thought there might be dolphins. I was like, when have you ever seen a dolphin just like swimming with its fin out? Like I'm like, what are you talking about?
New Brighton Beach is like,
dude, and it used to not be like that.
It's called Shark Park.
Dude, and it's funny because I saw people come and they go do shark tours over there now and stuff, and I was just like, man, like growing up, like me and my friends used to like swim out as far as we could, like, and then let's dive down as far as we can in the cold water, like that's all the time, like when we're little, and when you're little, you're like not afraid of anything, you know what I mean? But like now, I'm like, oh my god. Yeah,
honestly, like the chances of you guys getting bit by a shark are really, really slim.
Yeah,
like,
you have way more chance to like die in a car accident than you do have to go bit by a shark.
Yeah, they don't really see us as food, but they do make mistakes, and they usually it's pretty bad.
Not for them, but just that they're man eaters though. That's a pretty much misconception.
And a lot of people don't understand. They just think killing. Like fishing for sharks is fun, like a trophy, which to me that's so lame. Like you literally just pull it out of the water and just throw it back in. And I think it's super lame when they like they put it on display like that way, like or even if they just kill them too. Like you see like huge tiger sharks like hanging, and it's like they're not gonna eat it.
Yeah, well, so
it's
I'm
like,
gonna say,
that's so lame.
Is shark meat just not good, or?
I mean, it's terrible for you. I can tell you that.
Oh, it's bad for you. A lot of mercury, or what?
Yeah.
Just tons of mercury.
Yeah, and mostly like they just like cut the fin off.
Yeah, and so there's the shark fin soup, basically. That's the whole thing.
That's like the main thing. Like hundreds of millions of sharks every year. are just dead, just because of the fin, which is bad. Like, and it's pretty much illegal everywhere too at this point.
Yeah. And what it was really popular in Japan, right? At one point,
China.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I remember that was really popular.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's wild.
Yeah. And so, I mean, you're like in the ocean all the time. Do you eat seafood though?
No, I'm vegetarian.
Oh, okay, so I didn't know. Yeah. And I was wondering because you're, I figured you had to do some type of conservation and stuff like that. Yeah. And have you ever seen the Netflix documentary, My Octopus Teacher?
Yeah.
Dude, I just recently watched that shit. Cool. Dude, that shit's so cool. Yeah. Like, it blew my mind. And like, I felt really bad because I love Kyle Murray, honestly. Yeah. And I just like felt bad afterwards. I was like, man.
Seriously.
Dude, like these things are so smart. And I'm just like, snacking on it.
I forgot about it.
Dude, the Octopus Teacher is crazy too because it was just like for those listeners who haven't seen it, it's this documentary about how this guy he goes diving in this pretty much this place where there's a kelp jungle basically, and he goes diving there and he wanted to dive every single day and see what would happen basically, and so he starts diving and the first day he sees this weird little figure, and what it is, it's the octopus that has all these shells and rocks and everything all around it, and it's using it to hide itself, and the guy kind of notices it and he starts checking it out, and then he realizes what it is, and then it's octopus, and then the octopus kind of scurries away, and he kind of goes and follows it, and then he's like, I wonder what would happen if I come every single day to this octopus. And so he starts doing that, and he starts forming a bond with this octopus, and the octopus starts like, coming on to him. And even he had to swim to the surface one time and get air, and the octopus is in his hand, and like he swam all the way to the surface, got air, and like went back down with the octopus.
Insane.
Yeah. And then Dude, it gets more and more crazy because everything the octopus can do just blows my mind. And then so then there's these sharks in the area, and the guy's like obviously doesn't want to interfere with how nature goes. So sharks are like, there's this point where like the octopus is running from these sharks. Do you remember what type of sharks there are? They're like small sharks to us.
I think it was like a leopard shark.
Yeah, exactly. And those are pretty harmless to humans, right?
Yeah,
they're pretty small.
Yeah.
And so, and leopard sharks eat octopus, or eat whatever, honestly. Whatever they can. And so the octopus is running away from it. And it's crazy because the guy just has like his DSLR camera, or mirrorless, I'm sure, and he's just following it. And he catches everything on tape. And at one point, the octopus is swimming away, and then the octopus literally climbs up onto the surface of like, so the octopus swims up to the surface, climbs on the rocks, and the guy's like following it, and it's crazy because you can hear him breathing like, and then the octopus like jumps back down and is like hiding in the kelp and everything. And then at one point the guy's like filming the octopus and the shark, and they're kind of having a standoff, and he has to go get air because he doesn't use any scuba gear. So he goes back up and he gets air, and when he comes back down, he couldn't believe what he saw, and it's crazy. He sees the octopus wrapped around the shark, and the shark's like trying to figure out what's going on. The octopus like just bamboozled the shark. But it's like the craziest story. It was so cool, dude. It's one of my honestly, I was really upset by the name of it, just because no offense, but My Octopus Teacher sounds like a stupid name.
Honestly, I didn't know what the whole film was about. I thought it was just a documentary. And I'm going to watch all of them regardless. And I watched that one. I was like, man, that just kind of shows you put in the work. You can do anything.
Yeah, dude, seriously.
That's the way I
think he went to over like 100 days diving. And he was like, and he wanted to go without a wetsuit or anything because he felt like, more natural, basically. He's showing the octopus like who he is, what he is.
And the octopus are like, they're really, really smart animals. Like, extremely intelligent.
Yeah.
Dude. So it makes sense. I like how that happened.
And then at the very end, I guess the whole conclusion of the whole thing is that at the very end, a shark comes and the octopus starts doing what he did, how he saw him in the very beginning. He saw the octopus with all those shells and rocks on him. And at the conclusion of it, it's kind of like that octopus was actually doing that because he was kind of scared and didn't know what the diver was doing. And so he uses that as protection. And I believe he's the first to capture that or capture the reason why they do that.
Yeah, honestly, I can't even remember the end. I watched it a while back.
No, honestly, and I just watched it, so it's real fresh in my mind.
I just remember it was really cool. Way cooler than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, exactly. And that's because my wife was like, let's watch it. And I was like, I guess. I was like, I'm really put off by the name.
Yeah, totally.
I was like, I don't know. It sounds like it's going to be dumb.
Totally.
But I tell my friend that, and he's like, no, it's not that dumb of a name. I was like, disagree with me. It's a stupid name.
Just watch it, though.
No, watch it. I really highly recommend it on Netflix, My Octopus Teacher. It's really good. And so then you started getting into conservation, just probably with your love from ocean, right? And then, so did you just reach out to somebody on how can you get involved?
I did.
Or?
I reached out to Shark Allies. I'm like, hey, I don't know what I can do. Like, I sell prints. I'd love to donate some money to you guys. And they're like, yeah, totally. And they put me on their website, linked my website on theirs, and like it just became this thing where we're really close. And Shark Cafe is basically Shark Allies, just like another branch. And like they sent me T-shirt the other day, and I was like, dude, this is tight.
Yeah, it's cool just to be a part of stuff. Yeah.
Being part of it, and like, you know, I get to like promote them a lot too, because they do a lot of good work, and I appreciate that,
dude. Yeah,
because they're on the front lines of it.
Being with brands that actually do stuff that's like cool, and that's totally. Have you ever heard of Royal Robbins? Yeah. So I'm an ambassador for Royal Robbins, cool. And I don't even know how it really happened. They posted a couple of my photos one time, and they were like, "Yeah, apply here to be ambassador," and I did, and I don't know. I maybe think because maybe I'm from the Central Valley and it's from the Central Valley that maybe that's why. Yeah. But they just have been awesome, and they just kind of give us gear, and like they gave us like $1,000 worth of like clothes and stuff over the past 6 months. Oh, cool. And like all we got to do in return is just like do whatever we do still, and then just like send them all the guidelines. We're just post one picture and post them on their story once a month, like of us wearing their stuff or whatever, doing whatever we do. And so like I've gone ahead and made like little things for them, and just because I'm like, I mean. I love. Have you ever watched? Oh crap! What is the documentary? It's a documentary about free climbing.
Free Solo.
But it's not Free Solo. But it's about free climbing. It's about like the introduction of it.
No, I haven't. I've only seen Free Solo.
I'll send it to you afterwards. It's like it's about like kind of the guy Royal Robbins, and like how he was like one of the first people in Yosemite to like really start climbing, and like it was back when like it was like climbing wasn't like what it is now. It's all kind of like. It's almost like, I don't know if I wouldn't say it's like a rich sport, but it is a little more of a high class. In order to be involved in it, there's got to be a rock climbing gym near you or mountains near you. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So like it's like it kind of transformed. But back in the day, it used to be like all these people who all they did was climb, and so like they're basically homeless and they climbed, and they would like live in the bottom of the valley of Yosemite. What? And then dude, there's this crazy story. Awesome. There's this crazy story. There's Merced Lake. That's like I believe it's on the top of one of the mountains in Yosemite, so what happened was that this plane crashed into the lake, and it was coming from Mexico, and it had a whole bunch of marijuana in it, and it crashed into it, but they're all in bundles. And what the climbers did was, the climbers can get there faster than anybody else could get there. Yeah. And so the climbers climbed up the walls, faced the walls, jumped in the water, got all the weed from it, and then would bring it down. Nice. And like, and there was like, I forget what they called. I used to have a shirt, and it was a joint. It said, "I got mine from Merced Lake, California." Nice. And but like, so and there was like rumors that like, you know, like the engine, they called it like some type of like a diesel engine or something like that, because like the actual like obviously the gas from the plane like leaked into everything pretty much. No. And they would say that so like, but I'm like, it's whatever. And they would just take it and they just flipped it and sold it. But there's like rumors that like it tasted like actual gas and stuff like that. That's crazy. But it's a really cool documentary. It talks about the history of it. Yeah, it was on Netflix for a while. No way. Honestly, hold on. Let me look up the at least the name of it, because I want to recommend it to other people.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, Dirtbag. That's what it's called.
Dirtbag.
Yeah, let me see. Royal Robbins documentary. Valley. No, sorry. There's one called Dirtbag too. That's really good.
Yeah, I think I've heard of Dirtbag.
Valley Uprising. That's what that one's called. Uprising. But that's the one, dude. It's so interesting. Just because, like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't matter what. Like, it's like I'm not necessarily into like you're like. I mean, really into like, you know. Like the ocean and marine life and stuff like that. It's like for photography, it's like I have no niche, honestly. Gotcha. Like I will do portraits. I like doing cityscape, landscape. I mean, I took a photo of a whale. Wouldn't call myself, you know. But it just like I don't know. I'm just interested in anything that has to do with photography, videography.
I'm the same way. I just post sharks.
Yeah, and that's because I mean you probably have an audience from that.
Yeah, I do, which is another thing that I'm like changing next year.
Next year? Yeah. Kind of like broadening up your horizon. Yeah,
absolutely.
Because it puts you in that box, right?
Yeah, it does. It's put me in a box, but like I totally gained a lot from it.
Oh yeah. What was I say? So when did you really start like seeing, is it just slow growing over a long period of time?
It was quick.
Yeah, okay. So like
very fast.
How did because even I think when I followed you, you had 10,000 followers, and now you're like at 14 or something.
So right after that Guadalupe trip, I had like 3,000 followers. Actually, it was like 2,000. Mm-hmm. And then like I posted one picture and it just went completely viral. And like,
was it that one picture that you thought in the very beginning that you got, or no?
This is like the dumbest picture I've ever taken in my life. I'm being completely honest.
Dude, honestly, so I posted a photo too and said the same exact experience, bro. So I got firefall shots, and I posted like I got a composition of like this moon photo, and I just combined them, and I put like the moon on top of Firefall.
That's probably where I found
That's where the photo, huh?
That's so tight.
See, but I'm like, this is the photo that everybody freaking likes. Like, I posted on Reddit and it got like 50,000 upvotes, and
amazing.
Yeah, and I sold like
that's totally it. Then.
Yeah,
that's totally it. That's totally it.
Yeah, dude, I posted it on Reddit and just got so many but then people were like, can I buy this photo? And normally I like to sell all my prints, but like in that scenario, I just needed something so that people could go click on it and buy it.
Yeah.
Because it's like you either get them now or never.
It's all
and so
impulsive.
you ever heard of Darkroom? It's basically just a way you can sell your prints. I mean, they take a good amount of money, but in the sense,
like how much do they take?
I don't know. Like if I stopped doing, you can like do frames and stuff, but like then it's charging people like almost $300, and I'm getting like $70.
We can totally get into the whole print selling because it's a nightmare.
Yeah, and so like preferably, obviously, I'd rather get the prints myself and then sell them to you, just because like. Then again, but I will also say I never like getting frames. Like I'm like that is not my responsibility, you guys.
That's what I feel that way too. But I've had people buy like frames and stuff.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Where do you get your prints from?
Impix. What do you do?
Bay Lab Photo. Bay Photo.
Is it online?
Yeah.
Yeah. So mine's online too, and it's just
but this one's from near Santa Cruz.
Oh, okay.
They're huge, and and the prices are insane, like super good.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll have to look it up afterwards.
Is like
and
out of this world.
That's the reason with Impix that I like it so much is like it just every single time I got a print from them, I have not like been disappointed.
So you order the prints and then you ship them out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. And so with this one, do they order?
You can do drop ship.
Oh,
but you don't have to have a store.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So they have an option to send to your house or drop ship.
And like with local stuff, it doesn't matter for me. So, and I mean, a lot of my prints that sell are my local photography. So it's like the Merced Tower or things in Merced. A lot of people like that.
That makes sense.
And then, but there are like times where it's like Yosemite stuff that somebody wants to buy. And like, I try to just do it like, okay, I'm buying a group of prints. And then, then I'll ship them out, which is fine. And I don't mind doing it, soon, but I like the drop shipping.
It's so convenient.
Yeah, because then you can just say, hey, I got to order on this, and they'll take care of it, and then...
Well, you just go in there and do all the details.
Oh, so you go in there?
Yeah, so say you wanted to buy a print from me, I would just click which one I want, because you have like a library, and then you put in the address and click drop ship, and it'll ship it to you with no receipt or anything.
Oh, really?
And it's cheap too. The shipping's cheap.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Shipping is pretty, I don't know. I always thought shipping was more expensive, but like with picture-wise, it's like, I don't know, $5.
Which is still kind of expensive.
Yeah, but I mean,
picture.
Yeah. It's like weighs nothing. But it's like you have to
8x10.
Yeah.
It's flat. And I get that it's wide, but it's flat. It's that thin. You know?
Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying.
Like I think 11x14 or under, it's free.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
11x14 is a pretty...
To yourself, and then drop ship, it's like $2.
But whatever. 11x14 is a pretty good size.
Yeah,
that's the size I always recommend to people. Me too. Because I'm like, listen, you think 8x10 is going to be cool, and then it's going to be this tiny little photo on your wall.
Yeah,
like,
you got to get a frame.
And yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And 11x14, at least you can buy like a bigger frame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then it looks bigger.
Yeah.
But 16x20. I get that. Get 16x20s, you guys. I ordered 16x24. I didn't think it was going to be that much bigger. It's pretty big. Like
it is, and I can't find a frame for mine.
I got one for my friend, and he was like, "Can you find a frame for me?" And I was like, "I've had it for like 6 months, man." Yeah. I got like, sorry, man, I don't do that.
Yeah. Now I have two. I don't know why I ordered them 16x24. Must have just the way I cropped it, but I have two Big Sur shots, drone shots, and they're epic too.
Yeah.
They're like some of my favorite shots I've ever taken. I don't take that much landscape, so for me to get an epic landscape is like insane because I'm very hard on myself when it comes to photography. And I can't get frames for them because I can't find the size.
Really?
I've gone everywhere, and I probably could if I look a little bit harder, but I try.
I know what you mean though. Like it's just like it becomes a hassle.
I thought it was a normal size, and I guess it's not.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. That's funny. But then, so what is? Obviously, you know a lot about sharks. Bull shark's the most aggressive shark.
I guess that's what they say.
That's what they say. That's the only reason
I've swum with them too.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are cool.
Have you ever swam like not in the cage with them?
Yeah, that was outside the cage. So every shark I've swam with has been outside the cage besides great whites.
Yeah.
So that's bull sharks, mako sharks,
and
blue sharks.
But you don't have a scuba, right? So you
just
have snorkel?
Free diving. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But it's like calculated chaos almost. Because like
are there other people out there with you?
Yeah, there's like the safety divers who have the bait, and the sharks usually just kind of like swim towards them.
Oh my God.
They go after the bait, or they don't, and they kind of swim. And all the divers are around, so like they just kind of go in this circle. And they'll get you close to the bait, and then you can see like all the big teeth and stuff.
Dude,
it's intense.
Yeah. And so, I mean, are you a bit of a thrill seeker at all?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, gotcha. Anything else you do? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. You don't have to do anything else because this seems like it's plenty of thrill.
Anything you can think of, I'll probably do.
Really, skydiving and stuff, or no?
I'd do it. I haven't done it. I'd totally do it.
I used to think the older I get, the more I think about my mortality. Honestly,
me too.
So like,
but I think like so. Whole quitting that job thing started changing my life in 2020. Changed my life in 2021 was like insane. Like I became a vegetarian.
Oh, so just this year?
I stopped drinking completely.
Really?
And like my life has completely changed. I'm super motivated now, and I think it's because I got a lot of success from the real estate stuff, and like I realized I can make money from photography, and like I was like, oh wow, this is my chance. Like this is the opportunity I've been waiting so long for, and like I have to be focused on it. And from that, I started reading a lot more books now, and I'm so focused on everything, on like being so successful that like I'm determined that I'm become like this content creator that like makes a lot of money from brand deals. Like I know that's gonna happen in the future, and I think it's gonna happen this year. And like I'm so focused on it. And that's why
cool.
That's why I'm saying like the whole Instagram thing's gonna change for me. It's not gonna be sharks anymore. Like it's gonna be basically everything I do. Because I just went to Cabo and I haven't posted anything from that. And I have like all this cool stuff. Like there's breaching humpbacks like right next to our boat. And we're about to get in the water with them. But the opportunity didn't come across.
Have you ever been swimming with humpbacks or anything?
No, that's the next. I want to get.
I feel like I would rather. I don't know anything about this stuff. So anyone listening, but like I feel like I would be less scared of a big whale. Weirdly, I don't know.
Oh, for sure.
You just because like you know what I mean. I'm like I
just
don't
stay
think
away.
This thing. Yeah, exactly.
Stay back from them. But the orca was pretty insane underwater.
And so were you swimming with the orcas?
Yeah, in the water.
Dude, that's so wild.
It was like 2 feet from me.
But there's no recorded attack of
but
anything.
Still, they're intense. One, like we were underwater, and I didn't see this because I just saw the video. And it must have happened like next to me too. Because
you were there.
The water was murky, and like it was a diver. She was next to me, and the whale goes in front of her, and she starts like screaming joy. Like she's so happy. She loves orca. She's never seen them. It's the first time. So she's like screaming underwater.
Oh, and they can hear her.
The orca turns around and comes right up to her face, looks at her, and then swims off. And as it's swimming, it makes a crazy noise.
Oh, because it heard her. Yeah, it was probably responding to her or something.
It totally was. Like, it totally like said, is something okay? Like, is everything all right? And then like swam off.
Dude.
Like it stopped in its track, turned around and came back right in front of her. And like the whole thing's on film. And I'm just like,
dude, that's sick.
That's insane.
That's
like,
so cool.
Insane that those animals are so smart. And then like, if you ever go to Monterey Bay and you see them there, they're most likely killing something.
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
They're there for that. Like the gray whales are coming right now. So orca season starts basically like February, March, April, probably even May. So there's an orca season in Monterey.
Because I know there's a whale season kind of right now, right?
Yeah, well, it's all year.
It's all year.
You're gonna get all year.
But there's a lot more activity, I guess.
Humpbacks are leaving.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they were saying they're feeding and then they're going to head somewhere else.
They're going south. They go to Mexico, and that's where I just saw them breaching because they're.
Which is crazy. That's so cool.
And then so now gray whales are showing up Monterey, and orcas eat the gray whale calves. That's what they're there for.
Oh, really?
So you'll see a lot of orcas coming up.
Dude.
So if you get a chance, get on a boat, like an all-day orca trip. Get on like a smaller boat though.
Yeah.
There's one called the Fast Raft. I haven't been on, but I think I'm about to book a trip with them really soon, and then maybe even talk to him. Or Slater Moore. I don't know if you know who he is.
I don't think so.
Look up Slater Moore. He takes people on private trips.
After this, I'm going to honestly ask you all those people's names you suggested and follow them.
But the orca trips in Monterey, if anybody ever gets a chance, just do it. It's so cool to see those things in the wildlife, just doing their thing.
Yeah, dude, that's sick.
They're crazy though.
Dude, it's crazy. It's like a giant dolphin. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what really that's what it looks like. It looks like a huge fucking dolphin.
They are dolphins.
Oh yeah, aren't they the same family, right?
Orcas are dolphins, or all whales are dolphins, but not all dolphins are whales, or something like that. It might be. I might have mixed that up, but it's kind of crazy. I don't get it. I do know probably more than most people do about marine life, but
you're still learning.
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't know all the facts.
You're like I'm not an expert,
I know a lot more about sharks,
I know more than average.
Just being on that whale watching boat, I've learned a lot about whales, which is cool. Most people think they're pretty boring, and I get that. Especially if you go whale watching, they are kind of boring most times. But then you'll get those days.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, I have the opposite impression. Yeah. I'm like, whales are fucking sick, man. They just hop out of the water. They have 6 or 5 of them feeding together.
Once you get like, there's a really famous whale in Monterey. His name's Google. It's a little calf, and he just breaches over and over and over.
Really?
I've seen him twice and like 40 times, just boom out of the water over and over, and he's so cool. The coolest thing ever. And I'm hoping that
he stays around.
Yeah, he doesn't get eaten by an orca, but I think he's...
How long does it take for a whale, do you know, for a whale to kind of get full grown?
Like, I think it's a year. Like, they grow super
Jesus
fast. Not full grown,
no, but like adult size.
From like when they're born to like in 1 year, they grow like massively, like an insane amount.
Yeah, and then I'm sure they're slowly for the rest of their lives or whatever it is.
They're huge too. They're really big. I've seen footage underwater, like my friends in Cabo and stuff, because they go to like different parts of Mexico, not in Cabo. And you'll see them. They're massive. They're super big, like 50 feet.
Dang, that's wild.
Yeah.
And then is it? I don't know. This I could be wrong on this fact. So great white sharks mating, isn't there like not a lot of?
There's no footage.
There's no footage, right?
Yeah. No one knows.
So no one really knows what's.
No, I think they just like I don't know. That's the shark cafe.
Oh, that's the area right there.
I guess that's where people are thinking this is happening. They see a lot of shark activity there.
Oh, and sharks coming kind of.
And they believe it's like it happens deep, like deep.
That would make sense.
They they latch on and they like fall, like some crazy shit.
Probably something similar. You know how like eagles mate sometimes, and they're like spinning into.
Yeah, I'm assuming.
Talk about something kinky, man.
Yeah, I'm thinking like they get wild.
Yeah,
like they're biting onto each other.
Dude, I can't imagine.
Because they've seen other sharks
they mate and stuff like that. And is it just more normal? It
seems like they just the same thing. They latch onto each other, like bite each other, and
really
do their thing. I guess.
Dude, that's so wild to me.
It is.
But it's also crazy that in 2022, yes.
Yeah.
I can remember when this podcast comes out. In 2022, like there still hasn't been a video of great white sharks mating.
Yeah, that is insane. Because there's a video of everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like literally of every other thing in the world. Like there's a video of it.
It really is.
And the most random things in nature, like whenever like a chicken eating anything. You know what I mean? It's just like there's like the most random shit. But
totally.
That's wild. Yeah, because my friend because I was asking my buddies, I was like, any guys any questions for this? And he was like, I don't think that there's ever been like a great white shark mating.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, that's wild.
And it doesn't happen at Guadalupe. Guadalupe is a feeding ground and it's a stop for them. And that's all it is. But it's like there's so many sharks there. Like there's times where you'll look out and you'll see 3 or 4 great whites. And they usually aren't near each other. Usually they're very independent.
Solo,
independent. But there's tons and tons of great whites there. Like an insane amount.
And what are their migration patterns like?
So like basically the ones that I do pay attention to a lot, they come up Northern California. Some of them do. Most of them stay in SoCal. Then they go back towards that shark, like towards Hawaii, like the middle of the Pacific, and then some will head to Guadalupe.
Is that the Shark Cafe area?
Yeah, I think that's it. Right and then they'll head to Guadalupe or back to SoCal to eat.
And they just kind of stay in that little.
Seems like it. It's like a triangle.
Oh, that's pretty.
And if you watch the pattern, they all kind of just go out to the middle of the ocean and then come back. Like that, and that would make sense. That's got to be it.
Yeah, that's got to be.
And then they leave and they go feed or have their their babies.
And then but when they're having babies, are they just like popping out hella eggs or what are they?
Not great whites.
Oh no, they swim out.
Great whites actually give
birth, right?
Live birth, yeah, which is like. What?
Yeah, because what other marine animals? Just like whales and dolphins do that too?
Mammals.
Yeah. Just mammals, huh?
I would think. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, this is a stupid question. Are sharks mammals?
No.
Okay,
they're
cool.
fish.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But that's like the weirdest thing.
Yeah. But like obviously everything else is telling us that they're pretty much like these other things, right? They're like dolphins. They're like.
I wonder if it's because
orcas.
Of how big they are or something.
Yeah, but like you gotta think there's other big giant fish. You know what I mean? Like think about a tuna fish or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they're not near as big.
Yeah,
like tuna's not.
But isn't
great whites
stupid big?
Yeah, but great whites are like 15 feet.
Yeah, I know that. But aren't tunas like
They are big.
Aren't they stupid big though too?
Yeah, they get like fat, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna say like they might not be like long lengthwise, but they're like freaking.
Yeah, I watched that show.
Or Gruger. What are they called? Grubers?
I know you're talking about.
Grouper. Yeah, there.
Those things are really
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like that's like a size like as a shark.
Volkswagen Beetle is what they say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I'm guessing but that's like as big as they get. Great whites get big.
Yeah, what's on? Isn't there like a 30-something foot or 40?
I don't think about that.
No, I think like
20.
20?
20, like 22, 23.
What do you think the biggest great white shark recorded is?
Like 20. Probably 23 to
23?
25.
All right.
23 to 25, and I guarantee it's like deep blue or something.
I'm going to guess 30 feet.
30 feet? Okay. I will be so surprised, but I'm definitely curious. That'd be so cool, though, to see something like that. I couldn't imagine.
Okay. 20 feet long, 2.5 tons. You're right there.
Feet. Yeah.
Dude, there's pictures of it, too. It's huge.
And the biggest one.
And
I've
so,
ever seen
would you go swimming with great white sharks out of the cage?
No, I don't think so.
That's the one where you kind of draw the line.
Yeah, no, they're too.
I see.
There's
a picture right here of somebody just right next to that huge ass shark.
I mean, if you watch them while you're diving, like you could probably definitely go out and they probably wouldn't do anything because they swim. Most of the time, they just swim really, really slow in front of the cage.
And they're just waiting for they're there because they smelled the bait.
That's it. So I don't know, but it's still like. What I've seen them do with their jaws and stuff, you're just like, I don't know. Like, I got to be smart at that. Like, I want to live as long as I possibly can, but I also want to do cool shit.
Like,
exactly. There's a happy medium. And I do, like, my thing is, like, health is really important to me. And I want to live as long as I possibly can because, like, life is short. So I want to get the most out of it. But at the same time, like, I'm going to do cool things. And I'm going to risk my life probably.
Yeah.
But I do it. I try to do it as best I can, as safe as I can.
Yeah.
But still, like, I push myself a lot.
Yeah. And I mean, I think if that's your passion, that's
it's the way to go.
You can only be so safe. Like, like at the end of the day, you're in their world. Like, you know what I mean? Like, totally. So like, it's like, kind of know the consequences of going into it, and you also know now that you've been doing it so long, what's safety precautions you can take to go into it.
I mean, you never know underwater.
Yeah, exactly. You never know.
You really don't. Like, it's intense. Like that. Like when I say that trip's intense, it's like, you're in the water. The water is like, it's not super warm. When you're underwater, it gets cold.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And like, if you want to get good shots, you got to stay in that cage for hours and hours and hours.
Really?
And you're freezing, like you're shaking. Your hands are like, they hurt. You have weights on your shoulders. So
to keep you down?
Yeah, your shoulders
Is there a platform in the bottom of the cage?
Yeah,
okay, I always wondered that.
So you stand on the platform. I kind of bounce around wherever the sharks are. But you have weights on. So you're there for hours.
How many people are in the cage at one time?
4 maximum. But the first day you get in the cage and like it's full and you have hour rotations by halfway through the first day, and this has happened twice to me, so I don't know if this is for everyone, but people tend to stop going in the cages as long. They'll do like 30 minutes, they'll get out. So people like photographers, they're in there for hours. So by the second day it's pretty much open.
And whenever you want to go,
it's never 4 people at a time.
Oh really?
Pretty much.
That makes sense too, because I mean,
and you go in as long as you want.
And I'm sure some people after that first day, they're like, I mean, some people who aren't photographers, they're probably like, I got my fix. You know what I mean?
They saw it. They'll get it.
Maybe they'll get in the last day or
they'll
something.
get in for like 30 minutes. They'll get out. And you can chill. Like you can drink on the boat, whatever you really want to do. You can't drink if you go in the cage. But like once you start drinking, no more cage time. Most people wait till like, the sun starts
Sunsets,
setting. But yeah, it's cool. They're like sunset, sunrise. Like I'm there early in the morning to like the last one out.
In Cabo, is the water a lot warmer
than here? Yeah.
Like,
I go in without a wetsuit.
Yeah, that's what I assume though, because I went to Hawaii. I've only been to Hawaii like once when I was little, but I could not believe how warm water is.
Hawaii's insane. It's like a bath.
Yeah. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what is this?
Yeah, it's unreal. It's cool though.
Yeah, that is really cool. And then, are there anything you're afraid of in the ocean, like that you have more caution around?
Honestly, it's like waves, like
the actual ocean.
Yeah, like the ocean. I don't want to say I'm afraid of the ocean, but it's definitely like a huge fear.
Yeah.
And it's something I'm like conquering.
And I think it's good to be afraid of stuff. Almost.
Especially that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think you should be.
There's a reason that your body's probably
like when you're up in the mountains and stuff, like you should be cautious.
Yeah, exactly.
You totally should be. And in the ocean, the same way. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, obviously I can like read wave patterns and like, or like, the swell and stuff. But like doing wave photography was scary. I got hurt a lot, like pounded waves, like taking me under.
Because you're literally at the worst part. I mean, you're at the crash
you're
of the wave.
You're in the impact zone, and like it can get bad.
Yeah. I went boogie boarding one time, and the waves were they're not crashing back. They're crashing like on the freaking.
Yeah, they're throwing.
And then I was like, I'll just ride this one. And I literally like scorpion tailed my back, dude. And I was just like, okay, I was literally like hurt for like a month.
And the craziest story I have shooting waves. I was in Carmel and it's perfect day out. Water is blue. It's crystal clear.
I love Carmel.
Waves are big though, and I'm not used to like swimming offshore a little bit. Like it wasn't on sand. It was like out. You had to swim out. And I had a buddy that lived out there, and he's in Carmel waters all the time, so he's so used to it. And he's like, dude, just go. You'll be fine. I'll be with you. I'm like, all right, let's go. Put on my fins. I'm swimming out there. I had my camera. It was a GoPro, and I had a big dome port on it actually. And it was cool. I was like diving into the water. It was fun. And then some bigger ones came, and I dove under. And it just
current.
It just pulled me. Like felt like someone grabbed my legs. I'm underwater getting tumbled, and these are like 8-foot waves, and they're big. And I'm like, I get up, and I'm like deep, like just I'm out of breath. And then like another one's coming, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Like I'm in the worst part.
Yeah.
And I just remember swimming down to the bottom, and I grabbed the sand as hard as I could, and the wave went over me, and I got up. And I told my friend, I was like, I'm out of breath. I gotta go in. He's like, don't go in yet. And I'm like, here comes another one. And that one just kind of goes. And then he's like, all right, go. And I swam as fast as I could. And I was out of breath, like super exhausted. It was so scary.
Dude, yeah, dude, underwater currents are so scary.
And I thought I was good because I've been doing this for like 2 years now. And like, I didn't think anything like that would happen, but that was scary.
That's what I didn't.
Because if like most of it's shore break and like you get pounded more on the shore, but at least like you're on the wall.
You can crawl out. You're getting tossed around, but you feel the bottom out.
Yeah, and you know which way's up, and that shit's scary.
Oh, dude, I've done that multiple times. Like I used to body surf when I was little and stuff. But like you get tossed up, and then you try to go up, and like you don't know I'm like going down. I'm like, where am I?
Yeah, that's scary. It's fun though.
Yeah, dude, I can't even believe that.
Yeah, and having a camera out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and then so since you've been doing it, I mean, obviously. Because we're talking about like the environment and stuff, but like temperatures of the ocean are rising. Mm-hmm. And is there any abnormal activity that you see in like sea animals or anything? Or?
Nothing that I've noticed. I know that there's a lot more great whites coming close to the shore.
Dude, and that's a recent development, right?
Part of the reason Monterey is the kelp is dying and the otters. Mm-hmm. They usually use the kelp to protect them, and the great whites are just feeding on them. So that population's going too.
Oh, really?
So that's one thing like I've heard recently that's like a huge impact like
on why
like right now. Mm-hmm. So it's like the kelp and the otters are like,
damn. They like otters more than seals.
I think. I don't know.
Because you would think that like
I think seals is probably like what they go after.
The main thing,
yeah,
main
but
source of food.
I mean, like an otter.
Otters just seems are so small. You know what I mean? Like they're so cute.
They're so cute.
Yeah, I love otters. So I've been Moss Landing, like kayaking and stuff like that.
There's tons of sharks there. Tons.
Really?
Yeah, Moss Landing's huge for great whites. big great whites too. Like that whole area. So like Monterey. Moss Landing's huge, and then New Brighton, St. Beach is huge, and then
basically the Santa Cruz to Monterey,
a little bit north, and San Francisco too.
Really?
Yeah.
San Francisco a lot colder water though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, they
love that too.
Yeah, huh?
There's the island out there with tons
Alcatraz.
of seals. Not that one.
Oh, we're talking about
it's another island with tons of seals, and they take people cage diving there.
Really?
But the water's so murky and you can't see anything. It's like $800.
Jeez.
And you don't nearly you probably don't see much there. So.
And when you go, you do cage diving here too, right?
No, I've never done it here.
You've never done it like in Monterey or anything? No,
I would never do it here.
Why? Out of curiosity.
The water's just not.
Oh, just you can't see?
And you can't bait the waters here.
Oh, you can't?
No.
And in Mexico you can?
Yeah.
And what is misconceptions about baiting?
I don't know.
Anything?
I mean, obviously, like, I think sharks, great whites, at least are smart enough to know that, like, this isn't my main source of food. But I don't know that for sure. And I think that's part of it. Like, people don't want to mess up, the way they eat. And
or interfere with their...
Also bringing them closer to humans and stuff like that.
But that's crazy. I didn't know that... I assume that you could always go... So you can go diving or go in a cage with sharks here. It's just really murky and you can't bait them.
Yeah,
So It's like your chances of seeing them
pretty
go down.
Slim. Yeah, pretty slim.
Damn. And so you just do a lot of... so what like around here, you just do a lot of whale and orca photography?
Yeah, whales. I'm all like Yosemite, Tahoe.
Oh, you go, all those trips and everything, nature and
coast.
Stuff. So, but like Tahoe, you ever swim? Swim in there and get any shots in there? And what, you get any wildlife in Tahoe, Lake Tahoe?
Bears. Just bears.
Oh, just bears. But what about like in the lake though? Do you ever go in there?
I don't see anything.
Anything in there? Nothing really? Cool. Man, you would think it's so big.
It's so blue too.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you would think that there would be
I got the best day of the year last year. The water clarity was insane.
Yeah, so a lot of times I've been in Tahoe, it's not as clear as like the pictures I see.
Yeah, you got to go to the spots.
Yeah. Well, there's that one spot that's like, I'm pretty sure it's like way overcrowded, but it's like where that girl's in like that see-through canoe or whatever.
Probably Sand Harbor.
That's a popular one.
Yeah, and it's like the clearest part of Tahoe. Like that area, I don't know if Sand Harbor is, but it is like insanely clear there. Like, just fly your drone up, you'll find it. That's how I found it.
Yeah, dude. And then so, can you fly your drone like out there on the ocean? No, on the ocean. Like, like if I was on a whale watching tour, I could send up my drone.
It's up to the people on the boat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I haven't done it in Monterey, but they've asked me to.
Well, yeah, because I was just curious of it. Because
there's zones, like there's definitely zones in the water where you can't fly, but they don't go in them. Yeah. From what I can see.
Yeah, and I was just wondering, because obviously, like. Because we were just on the bottom layer, the bottom part of the boat. Yeah. And, like, I didn't really understand, like, the difference between the bottom and the top. And now, after going, I think, like, You can just see like above it. You can
the bottom's better.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
But I guess the top advantage
for photos.
Top advantage though, you can see. You can see the figure of the whales
if they're
stuff.
close enough. It's still not high enough. I filmed humpbacks with my drone for the first time in Cabo.
Really?
I pretty much wrecked the drone as soon as I flew it too.
What'd you do?
Because we're on the boat and it's moving, and I flew it up, and it just went up and went like right to where the guy driving it, and I was like, well, that's not how you do this.
Yeah.
And then this other guy was on the boat. He's like, oh, I do this all the time. He's like, just let me know when you're ready. I'm gonna throw it in the air, and I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah, and then it goes like that.
He saw it start spinning, he threw it, and then we got it up, and then I landed it. I was like, I didn't think I was getting it back either.
Yeah, that's the thing too.
But it is cool. So the humpbacks like looking down, you see their full body.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering that when I was there because I didn't have my drone, but I was like, I wonder if you can fly drones.
Yeah, it's definitely up to the captain.
Yeah.
And that boat's like, there's always so many.
And being in the drone, I almost like don't like being in the drone. Like I don't like having my drone in front of people because then everyone's like, all about it.
Oh God,
it's cool.
The drone thing's annoying.
Yeah. It's a god. I feel annoying. I'm annoying myself by owning a drone sometimes. But like with those scenarios, it's like it'd be cool. And so, how much are your trips to Cabo? A little more friendly on price wise and everything.
Yeah, I know people there, so I get hooked up.
Oh, that's dope. But like for like an average consumer,
dude, you can honestly go to Cabo for so cheap. It's like
everything's cheaper there, right?
Yeah, like the Airbnbs, like you can stay at a resort if you want. You don't feel safe, but Cabo's super safe anyways. Like if anybody says Cabo's not safe, it's definitely safe. From what my experience is and the people I've met and talking to them, it's a pretty safe place. Obviously, it has its issues just like everywhere else does, but you can stay in Airbnb right on the beach. Like $100 a night. Yeah.
But then how much for like going out and
I mean, their downtown's expensive because it's so like it's a huge tourist.
But no, what about for shark tours and stuff? Like so when you go in the cages and stuff.
So the one in the cages, that's Guadalupe.
Oh, Guadalupe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cabo, it's free diving. It's like $160 a day, maybe a little bit more. It's like an 8-hour trip.
For Cabo? And how far away is Cabo and Guadalupe?
It's south of it, but like it's still like 200 miles off the coast.
Oh, okay.
So you got to go like west.
Yeah.
Out, it's like middle of the ocean.
Was that one cheaper that you went to comparatively to the other shark trip?
The Cabo, definitely. It was like that one was it was with a group of people, so it was like an actual trip. I didn't like plan it myself. So Discover Sharks, they put on a lot of shark trips. And this one was like $2,300, and actually doing it again this year, but I think it's a little bit more this year. But yeah, it was like a bunch of shark photographers, and we all like met up in Cabo and went diving for like 3 days, and we all saw orcas together. So it was a dope trip.
Dude, that is really.
We saw a bunch of mako sharks and like the world's.
Which ones are mako sharks?
The world's fastest shark.
Oh, really?
They got some crazy teeth. They're dope.
Are they? How big are they? Are they smaller?
Yeah, I think they get up to 12 feet, maybe a little bit bigger, but I don't think more than 12 feet. But we didn't see any big ones. But they're fast. They're super fast, and they're very skittish, which is interesting because great whites, they don't care. Like, they know they're bigger than you.
Yeah, they're
I think they know that, and they do get, like, great whites, when they get close to each other, they, like, scurry off. They get scared.
Of each other?
Yeah. It's weird. They don't like to be touched.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is funny to watch them. These big things like touch each other. Like, get off me. It's funny to watch.
That's cool. And then you said you recently started getting into like a video and content creation. And with that, did you see like a lot of growth in Instagram? Or with reels?
With reels, but they're also like they're paying people to post reels.
Really?
Which is why you see a lot of people posting reels. Like it's going insane because like Instagram's paying people.
Yeah, because Facebook does that kind of too, or they pay people for views basically. Yeah. Like they'll be like, hey, if you get 1.9 million views in the next 30 days, then you can get X amount if you get this much. Because I just had this guy on my podcast last week, and his name is Terrell Green, and he actually he's a content creator too. He makes funny videos online. It's really just reaction videos. So
nice.
He'll act like he's like walking into a room, like look over there, and then he'll show like a different video of something happening, and then he'll react to it. And like that's kind of like how
that's awesome.
But so I had it, and he has like 2 million fans on Facebook, and then like 400,000 on Instagram.
No way.
And so like I was talking to him about kind of like what's working or what hasn't been working. So like with you though, like you're saying you kind of you had that one photo that went viral that you're like, oh, that's how we got off. So we went like off a tangent off that point.
We're going all kinds of ways.
Yeah, exactly. So you posted that one photo, and it's funny because you're like oh, kind of whatever about the photo, and that's like me with my moon photo. It's like I like before when I was making it, I was like, this is the type of stuff that's gonna get popular, and then like it instantly did, and then it was almost just like less satisfaction just because like I was like, I have photos that I think are cooler, but
I don't even want to get into that.
But with Reels, do you ever feel that way? Because like Reels, it's almost not like I like Reels, but it's also one of those things where it's like you kind of know like going into it like this is going to perform better or
yeah, it's really annoying.
Yeah,
it's frustrating because like Instagram's been big for me for a long time. And now that I see photos going away and it's all video now.
That's what
I have to adapt to it, which pushes me into video more, which I should be doing because I like it too. It's fun. But you don't get as much content out of it. But with Reels, you do. Like they're literally just moving pictures at this point. And I try to think of it that way, but you do have to make that decision if you want to take pictures or video when you're going to capture something.
And Reels are so hard to do because you're limited. It's like opposite of like good video in the sense of you're not on this wide screen that you're supposed to be on.
You got to think of it as just like a picture that's moving.
Yeah.
Like it's just like 15 seconds. Not even that.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. I think I used to, when I do Reels or I have been, I'm like, I want to like fill the full minute. And then I realized like you need to put whatever it is like in the first 5 seconds because that's what's getting the likes. And I've had like, what pisses me off is like, the dog. I always laugh at the dog ones. Like it's like the funny dog ones. I have 2 dogs. So I always like to do those ones too.
Absolutely.
But I'll post like one of those and like, You can almost see when it catches.
Dude, you can.
Like, and then why am I getting a whole bunch of likes right now? And then it'll die off sometimes really quickly too. But it like caught for a second of being like popular. And so it's always like, I'm like trying to find a good, because I like it, but then I almost feel like, because I always just see the typical photographer ones, you know what I mean? And then I'm like,
I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I don't want to do those, but I want to do my own, and I want to do like maybe make fun of those or like you know what I mean? It's like hard to find a good like balance of it. Yeah. And that's the thing as a creator or like photographer, videographer that I struggle with is just like, it's like you feel like a sellout if you do some cheesy one, but then you got to play the game also, you know what I mean? Absolutely. And so it's like trying to find that middle ground of like making a reel that you like, that you don't feel like you're making it because everyone else is making it or whatever.
No, that kind of is how it is now. Some of the coolest things I've ever posted don't get any traction. And then some of the most random things I post blow up. Like I have a TikTok and it has like 200,000 followers on it.
Really?
And I'm like, I just posted one the other day, it has 600,000 views. Like, dude, within like 5 days. And I'm like, what is going on? Why?
I don't get TikTok at all, actually. Like I'll post my stuff on TikTok and nothing's ever caught, and I just don't get it.
I have some that are like millions and millions. It's just shark stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I think sharks are like,
and some whale stuff.
Sharks are like, it's just like, it's not average. It's not a normal thing that a lot of people post. So basically, your chances of it going to see more people goes up.
Yeah, big time.
Because that's like my whale photo got pretty popular. Not like super, but like got like.
Yeah. But that thing was epic.
Though. Yeah, I really.
It was like super epic.
I was very happy with it. I was just like, cool. Like I'm just like I was like didn't think but it's funny like in camera I'm like it wasn't necessarily.
No, once you edit it, you're like, oh wow.
Yeah. When I edited it, I was like, holy crap, this is an amazing photo.
Yeah.
And like people always like. I think editing is its own like trade in itself, and especially like if you talk to older photographers compared to like new age photographers, older photographers, they're maybe not the biggest on editing.
No, they don't like it.
Not necessarily, and especially the way that we edit photos. You know what I mean? Like we're picking out specific details that we want, and I mean you could change colors. You're doing anything. You know what I mean? And like that's where I feel like I'm more artistic about is that portion of it. Like I tell people a lot of times like I think I'm okay. Like I'm a good photographer. I'm okay photographer, but I think I'm a really good editor. You know what I mean?
Same.
Yeah. It's so it's like one of those things where it's like
I'm the same way.
Yeah. It's like and that's where I have more fun. I think.
Yeah.
I mean it's fun being. I mean obviously with sharks it's probably different.
Yeah.
You're out. That's a whole different experience. And I want to do something. See, it's like I feel like I would be okay in the cage.
Yeah, you'd totally be fine.
But it's
You'd
just
be fine.
Yeah. But it's just like outside the cage, I'm like, listen, I also haven't been swimming in the ocean forever.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you're literally just standing there underwater. You're not even swimming.
Yeah. So you're not even having to worry
once you learn how to breathe underwater, you're like, oh, it's just like breathing.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty much like your first time, you're probably like a little, and then after that, you're like, okay.
Like the first 2 minutes probably. And then you're so comfortable. And then like this, like the last time I went, as soon as we got in the water, there's a huge shark. Just like already there. Like the first time we had to wait, right? This last time, as soon as we got in the water, thing was huge too. Like the biggest shark I've ever seen in my life.
That's sick.
Like as soon as I got in the water, and it was nuts. Thing was crazy. And then we had another one. His name's Paul Walker, named after Paul Walker. And
that's the guy who Fast Furious, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
and he just and this shark would just circle the cage, go around it.
Are they tagged?
Some of them are.
Okay, gotcha.
And it would go underneath the boat and go in circles for hours. It would just, and I'd never seen a shark do that, but apparently that shark is like one that does that a lot.
Mm.
And then like all these sharks are named, and some of them get more famous. Like the first one, or the one that was pretty famous on this last trip, his name was Brutus.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like
from like Finding Nemo.
Yeah,
is that the idea?
Well, that's Bruce.
Oh, Bruce.
But Brutus, he's kind of like him. Yeah. He's massive, and he would just like go after the bait like so intense. Like he was there for that. Like his job.
He's like, listen, I know that's not for me, but I'm gonna fucking get
he's
this
like,
bait
this
right
is mine.
Here. Yeah.
And like.
And now, I mean, I've seen photos of that you post of like they're like going after the bait and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And so let's say, what is the bait on? Is it on a hook?
No. It's just tied.
Just tied?
It's like hemp twine that it's biodegradable. Like it doesn't do anything to them.
No, I was just curious. And then they throw it out there and pull it back. And on the pullback, sometimes the sharks just kind of go after
it.
They're
fast. They come from the bottom, like just darting up.
Dang.
And you see them, you're like, here they go.
What's your favorite shark photo you've had? I mean, is there like a specific one? I mean, you have so many, honestly.
I think there's one that's new that I just took, and he's like really close to the cage, and he's like the details are really good. I think that's my new favorite. I have a lot.
Yeah,
but that's definitely
he's like face on.
Yeah,
like just right face on.
Yeah, like he's kind of curved a little bit, but you can see his eyeball and like his teeth, and he almost doesn't even look like a shark. It's a weird picture, but he was like extremely close to the cage.
And what lenses are you shooting with when you're underwater?
It's a 28 to 75. It's a Tamron 2.8
to 75,
and the sweet spot seems to be right around 50. So I think I'm going with the 50 prime.
50, dude.
Yeah, I'm going with the prime.
You don't have a prime 50?
I do.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I was using that just because
then you can at least you can adjust. That way, if he is super close, you can go to 20.
I didn't really zoom at all. I noticed I was staying around like 49 millimeters around that size, so I figured I'll just go with a 50 next time. Be easier.
And 50 is good too with the
solid.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
I feel like it's the best beginner, and it's the most reasonable.
Yeah, it's so affordable.
Price too.
Yeah.
I don't get why is a 50 so expensive compared to like. I mean, so inexpensive compared to...
I don't know.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get 7,200, like, there's more glass or there's more whatever in it. But still, it's like...
I guess it's like...
$1,000. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or 800. You can find them for, like, 700 or whatever.
I don't even think it's that. Oh, I guess if you get, like, the 1.4.
If you get, like... Yeah.
But, I don't know. It's only, like... After, like, the 24 millimeter, it's only, like, 35 and 50. There's nothing really in between that.
Yeah, and then
it goes like 7.
But then it's weird because wide angles are freaking expensive too. You know what I mean? That's why it's like it's just blows
They're
my
not
mind.
as expensive though.
Not as expensive.
Like that, like 135, 1 point whatever 8. That thing's pretty expensive.
Oh yeah. 35. Dude, I have a 35 1.4.
Yeah.
And that I just luckily got that with my OSR bundle.
Nice.
And dude, that lens was over $2,000 by itself.
Yeah.
I was just like, what? Like what? I was like, and that's why I bought that bundle because it was like $2,500 for everything.
Oh, nice.
And I got 70 to 200, prime 35 millimeter, 85 millimeter, and the OSR
for
$2,500.
Oh wow,
dude! And it was literally
it's like $6,000.
Oh, exactly.
Probably more.
And the guy was like, he's like, somebody in San Francisco wants to pay $2,800. Will you meet me in the middle? I was like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Absolutely.
Let's just freaking go.
Yeah.
Let me just buy this today so that we can.
Dude, that's incredible.
That's what I'm talking about. And then my drone, I bought the Mini 2 when the Mini 2 came out on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Because the guy had it for a month and then he was like, I want the Mavic. And he bought the Mavic.
Yeah.
And then I bought it for like $350. And I was just like, what? Like, I didn't think I was going to find a used new drone. You know what I mean?
You got to have a drone.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Well, especially with real estate too, it's just like
totally,
you have to.
Totally.
Do you have your
drone license?
Yeah. Okay.
It's easy.
Yeah. Okay.
Not easy. Actually, I won't say it's easy, but they give you the book.
Easy to get it.
They give you the book,
and it's word for word, pretty much.
If you can find it, it's about airspace. Learn about airspace. But honestly, there's a YouTube video. I watched it twice and I passed the first time.
Oh, really? Well, it's weird because the reason I bought the Mini 2 is that it's under the weight that everything else has guidelines under. It's 249 grams.
Yeah.
And 250 grams is where all the rules and regulations come into.
Right.
And so that's why I don't know exactly, you know what I mean? But
I don't want to say anything.
Yeah, we don't have to. Yeah. Look at it off camera.
we talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I mean, that's pretty much all my questions. So why don't you tell, actually, what's that video?
Oh, yeah, let me see
that video.
Because this is pretty intense. But I don't know if I really want to talk about it, but I want you to see it.
Okay. We don't have to talk. We can just end the podcast with this, honestly.
But you gotta get the reaction.
Yeah, go ahead. You didn't get. Okay, so that's what the cage looks like. Holy fuck, dude. Oh, and he's... Oh my God, no. This is you or?
Yeah, I'm filming.
My God. No, dude. You could totally dive in the cave. I don't know, man. Oh my freaking God. Is he in there now? I mean, he's just staying in there like he can't get out?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Let me see it.
It just ended right there.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Dude.
Yeah.
Was this the most recent trip?
No, that was my first trip. Second day at the end of the day. Yeah. Remember when I said my life started changing? It was that moment. Like I knew I had to live healthier, find my passion, and do what I want to do in life. And that was like the moment my life changed because I thought I was done. I thought my life was over. It flashed before me. Everything that you could think of before you think you're going to die happened. Thought I was going to drown. I thought like everything bad was going to possibly, like the worst situation. I came out with a little cut and that was
shit's
it.
Crazy.
Shark was completely fine. There's like a safety cage and they opened it and let it out.
And
they replaced the cages so like sharks can't get in anymore.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So, and that was just like an older cage, I guess?
Yeah.
Or older model or something like that?
I think it just worked for so long. They didn't really have anything happen. But the thing is, there's smaller sharks showing up to Guadalupe and like, well, this year, they were huge. So I don't even know what they're talking about at least.
Dude,
but,
that's so crazy.
Yeah. I was filming. It was like laying on top of me at one point.
Well, I was going to say, so how did you get out of that?
So there was another guy in there. They pulled him up.
And then it was just you in there?
Yeah.
With the shark?
Just me. By myself and the shark.
Oh my God.
And,
It is a great white too, right?
Yeah, great white.
Oh my God.
And it was going crazy. I fell over. I don't even think like I was holding my camera. I think it was just flopping around at that point.
Was that all on your camera that you shot?
On my GoPro.
Right?
It was on the GoPro,
okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know why I was recording at that time. But
honestly,
yeah.
I mean, that's... Have you ever posted that or anything?
I won't post it.
You don't want to?
No, no. I told him I wouldn't because like...
Oh, you don't want to get like bad rep for like them?
For them and like I'm pretty close with them and stuff like that. And it's a bad rep. It could look really bad on them. It's not their fault. Totally not their fault.
It just happened.
It's a freak accident. And I talk about it, but I don't show. I show people the video, but I've never posted it.
Yeah.
And I know what would happen if I posted it. Like I totally know.
Yeah.
Especially like where I'm at now in my life with the followers and stuff. But at the end of the day, I don't want to get famous for that. Like if something's gonna blow up the right way, I want it to be the right thing.
Yeah. Because that could easily blow up in a different, in a different light.
And I don't want people to get shut down and things like that. So.
Oh my God, that shit's crazy.
Yeah, I thought I was done, but I ended up pulling myself up and getting out because the shark kind of like got stuck. And things stopped moving. And I could finally figure out what was going on. But during the whole time, it's ripping the regulator out of my mouth. So I'm freaking out.
Oh,
like,
so you don't have any air either.
I have no air and I can't breathe. And I'm also like freaking out.
Yeah, you're literally actually freaking out. There's a shark in a freaking cage.
And I do remember them saying, reach back and grab your regulator if it ever comes out. And I, for some reason, remember that. Deep breath, boom, rips it out again. I'm like, oh, this is getting bad.
And
like,
it was just that it was probably tangled up in it. So it was moving.
It was
moving. Yeah.
And then I just remember, I remember the guy going up, and then at one point I just grabbed the top of the cage, pulled as hard as I could, and then they
yanked you out as soon as they saw you.
And I sat on the little deck for like
breathing,
like a minute, not saying a word, just like, oh my God, how am I alive?
Yeah. Dude.
Yeah.
Dude, that's wild. Honestly, when I was watching it, I was like, oh, he's just like going to come out the cage.
Yeah.
And then when I saw like the truck getting in the cage, I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Dude, and that's your first time going diving?
First time.
Dude, power to you for like, and not scaring you away.
It was the second day, so we had a full day.
After that?
The third day. And I got up, first one up in the morning.
And you're
terrified. I got in, and then there's another person with me, and he got out, and I was there by myself. No one was in the other cage. So it was literally just me.
So there's two cages on the boat?
Yeah, two cages. Okay. No one's in this cage. I'm in there by myself, and the biggest shark we see of that trip is there, and it's just moving really slow, like super chill. Like, hey, you're cool. Nothing's gonna happen. Like, it wasn't even going after the bait. Just really slow,
kind of reassuring yourself.
And I was like, heart's pounding. I'm like, oh my God, that's so scary. But at the end of the day, this is what I love to do, and I'm gonna keep doing it.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude, that sounds like the perfect way to end this podcast.
Totally.
Dude, hey, Dustin, thank you for being here.
Man.
I really appreciate it, man.
It's been fun.
And go ahead and let people know where they can find your stuff at. Like your Instagram and stuff.
Instagram, it's Dust10 Photos, DUS10 photos, and then that's pretty much the only thing. You'll find everything else.
Yeah, everything else will be.
Yeah, I don't really. I use TikTok, but it's just a joke to me, just because I have a ton of followers.
Yeah,
it's just really.
It's like my sister has a stupid amount of followers too, but it's like I'm for doing whatever.
It's honestly, it's worthless to me. Instagram's where it's at. And we'll see where it goes.
Of course, man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. This is it. Real talk and whatnot.
Real talk. That's it. Real talk.